Namaste and welcome to this Yin Yoga practice where today the three poses are all targeting the spine. So we'll have some forward flexion, some hyperextension, and then ending with a nice lateral stretch in our banana pose. But before we begin, making sure you've got all the props you need. So if you have a bolster, then go grab that. If not, some cushions, some blankets, and pillows from your bed is another nice option. If you have some blocks, then great. But if not, everything I've mentioned before will be perfect. So before we get moving slowly, let's come into a comfortable seat of your choice. And when you're ready, closing the eyes. And let's take a deep breath together. And exhaling. Let's do that one more time. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's sigh. Letting go of anything that's happened before this practice. And letting go of any to-do lists that might be waiting for you. Let's put everything down and leave it to one side. As we draw our attention to ourselves, this time, especially for you, to prioritize yourself and your needs. Meeting your body where it's at today. Being really gentle with ourselves. Meeting our edge. And marinating there. When you're ready, we'll go ahead and blink open the eyes. And you can either stay with your legs crossed, and when we fold forward, you'll bring your hands to the earth and bow your head, or you can come to fold your legs beneath you. So when we fold forward, you'll come into a child's pose, beginning with our Taoist breath warm-up. So we'll start with the fingertips on the earth, and as you inhale, we'll sweep the arms overhead, gazing up in between the hands. And as you exhale, hands to the shoulders and push them out to the side as you drop your chin towards your chest. Your next inhale brings your hands back to your shoulders as you roll your shoulders away from the ears, looking up. And on your next exhale, pushing your hands away from you, feeling a big stretch across the back of the shoulders. We'll inhale to lift the arms, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, coming into that forward fold. Being here for a cycle of breath. And we'll flow twice more. Inhale to lift the body, lift the arms and the gaze. Exhale, hands to the shoulders, out to the side, chin towards chest. Inhale the hands back to the shoulders as you drop them away from your ears. And exhale, pushing the hands away, chin towards chest, rounding the spine. Inhale to lift the arms, lift the gaze. And your next exhale brings you back into that child's pose or forward fold. Beautiful. Last time. Inhale to lift the body, the arms and gaze. Exhale, hands to shoulders and out to the sides. Inhale back to hands on the shoulders. And exhale, rounding the spine. Inhale to lift the arms and gaze. And then this exhale brings you into that forward fold where we stay for 3 cycles of breath. Wonderful. When you're ready, coming to sit up, and I will demonstrate our first pose, which is caterpillar. So for caterpillar, feel free to sit on the edge of a folded blanket or a cushion. I find this helps to tilt my hips, so I naturally want to fold forward. The legs are stretched out in front of you. And you just begin to fold over the legs, stopping where you start to feel something. So we're not holding our feet and pulling ourselves deeper to find the deepest expression possible, because remember, we are holding for 3 minutes, so that will be quite intense. So just beginning to feel something. Some nice options: if you have a bolster or pillows, you can lay it over your legs and fold over it. If you have blocks or, again, cushions, so you might want to pile things up, you can rest your forehead so you can take that pressure out of your neck if your head's starting to feel a bit heavy. But this is caterpillar. So when you're ready, finding your seat, extending your legs and folding forward. And as we come into this forward fold, I want you to begin relaxing the muscles of the face. Softening the forehead and the temples. Relaxing the cheeks. And allowing the jaw to drop and soften. And if you notice that you're frowning, it might be your body telling you you've gone a little bit too far, you're pushing past your edge. And if that's the case, I invite you to back out of the shape a little bit. This caterpillar shape is inviting a forward flexion into the spine. Stressing the ligaments along the entire length of the spine. And as we marinate in this shape, you might also notice some sensations running along the backs of the legs. Maybe even in the soles of the feet. And if over time you can feel some unwanted sensations in the knees, I invite you to bend them. Maybe even putting a folded blanket or cushion underneath them. Beautiful. Last 3 breaths. Wonderful. And at the end of your 3rd breath, you can use your hands on your prop or on the floor to slowly press yourself up. We'll remove any props that were on top of your legs. I invite you to send your hands behind you and just lean back. taking this moment to allow that stretch to integrate into the body. Noticing any other sensations. And then inviting in some gentle movement if you feel you need it. So that might be windshield wipering the feet. Maybe bringing the feet to the ground and rocking the knees from side to side. It might even be puffing up the chest. And so we've experienced a forward flexion, and now we're going to bend the spine in the opposite direction with our Sphinx pose. So for Sphinx, we'll be laying on our front. And as you lay on your front, if you can feel your hips or your pubic bone pressing into the earth, then I invite you to pad your mat with a blanket. That might be nice. Another option for the blanket is to use it underneath the armpits, but I'll show you that now. So you'll come to lay on your front, and your feet can be whichever distance apart feels right for you. The elbows are roughly underneath the shoulders. So this might be your first option here. If this feels like quite an intense back bend, then you can use your folded blanket or your pillow to lay your chest over. You can bring your forehead down onto your hands here, like so. Or if you feel like you could increase the stretch, so even here, you're not even really feeling anything, then another option is to prop the forearms up. So you might use blocks or that blanket to bring the forearms to. Just like in caterpillar, if over time your head begins to feel heavy and it's straining your neck, then again you can bring your forehead to rest upon a prop. But this is Sphinx pose. So if you're not already there, come and join me. Laying on your front, finding that hyperextension of the spine and settling in. So I always like to use my breath to anchor me into this shape. And you might even like to take some deeper belly breaths here. And you'll feel this in your lower back. But remembering we don't want to push beyond our edge. We don't want to be feeling any pain, any tingling. And I invite you to relax through the legs. All 10 toes softening. Lower legs resting on the earth. Maybe feeling the tops of the thighs pressing into the earth. Taking the time to notice if there's any gripping or holding in the pelvis, the abdomen. Inviting in some softness. We're into our final minute. And if you'd like to increase the stretch, then you can bend your knees so the feet are lifted off the mat. Last 3 breaths. And at the end of your 3rd breath, if the knees are bent, let's bring the feet back down to the earth. We'll move the elbows forward, we'll stack the hands, and we'll rest our forehead on the pillow that we've created. If you feel like you need some gentle movement, you can go ahead and rock the hips from side to side. And when you're ready, we'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders. We'll push up to all fours. And here you might like to send the hips back and come into a short but sweet child's pose. So a nice counter stretch. This might feel really yummy. Awesome. Let's lift the head or walk the hands in. And I'll demonstrate our final pose, which is banana. So in a moment, you'll come to lay on your back. And then we'll walk the head and the chest over to the left. You can bring your arms overhead. And if you feel any tingling sensations in the arms or shoulders over time, then by all means, you can lower them back down. We'll walk the left foot to the left side. Then we'll walk the right foot to the left side as well. To increase the stretch down the right side of the body, we'll cross the right ankle over the left. Or you can cross the left ankle over the right just to lock the legs into place. Lastly, you can turn your gaze to the left as well. So bringing this lateral stretch now into the spine. So I invite you now to join me if you're not already there. So let's walk the head and the chest to the left, bringing the arms overhead, walking both legs also to the left, and having a play around, crossing one ankle over the other, maybe swapping just to see which you'd prefer. And lastly, we turn the gaze over to the left, closing the eyes here. Feeling this lateral stretch of the spine, this lengthening on the outside of the body on the right, and a compression on the left. If you feel lightheaded or dizzy at any point, just bring your gaze back. And you'll notice as you marinate release in the shapes. Your edge might move. Your body might begin to relax and open. You might notice that maybe you've gone a bit too far and your body is asking you to back out a little bit. Yin really shows us how unique our bodies are. When I teach this class in person, I could have a room full of people, and everyone might be doing something slightly differently. So it doesn't matter what the shape looks like on the outside. It's about how it feels on the inside. You have 30 seconds left. Last 3 breaths. And at the end of your 3rd breath, let's bring the gaze back to center. Lower the arms, or uncross the legs, and we'll slowly return the body to being roughly central on the mat. We'll take a mini Shavasana. Taking a moment to compare the left and right side of the body. Noticing how and in what ways they feel different. And let's do the same on the other side. So this time we'll walk our head and our chest to the right. We'll lift the arms overhead or keep them where they are. We'll walk the feet over to the right. To increase the stretch, we'll bring the left foot over the right, or we'll bring the right foot over the left. Our last option is to turn the gaze to the right, allowing the eyelids to close. Now settling in on this side. Noticing the soft movements of the chest and belly as the breath moves in and out. Allowing the body to soften and to open in this banana shape. Maybe beginning to notice when there's stillness in the body, there's stillness in the mind, and stillness in the breath. Last 3 breaths. At the end of your 3rd breath, turning the gaze, lower the arms down and cross the legs, and slowly find ourselves back roughly central on the mat, taking a couple of breaths in stillness. And if you'd like some gentle movement before we begin Shavasana, then go ahead and take it now. Might be nice to bring your knees into the chest and take a rock from side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, setting up for Shavasana. So my favourite way of practicing is to bring my feet towards the outer edges of the mat and bringing my knees together, my hands resting on my belly. You might prefer to extend the legs out long with maybe a bolster underneath your knees or a pillow underneath your head. You know how best to make yourself comfortable. Take your time settling in. I'll guide a short relaxation, and then I'll end the practice laying down so you can take as long as you need. Begin relaxing the legs, all 10 toes, the feet, the calves and shins relaxing, the thighs softening. All 10 fingers and your hands relaxing. The forearms resting. The upper arms resting. Feeling your hips grounding down, resting on the surface beneath them. Relaxation traveling up the spine, lower back, middle back, upper back, all the way to the crown of the head. Allowing the entire body to soften and relax as the body breathes by itself. I invite you to stay here for as long as you need. I'm going to go ahead and close the class by bringing my hands together, my thumbs to my third eye. May this practice serve all sentient beings. May all beings be happy, healthy, and free. Thank you so much for joining me in this yin practice today.